This is Centered, where faith meets everyday life. Our hope is to invite you into a better story, a story where you're made new through Jesus, living with God-given purpose, and experiencing peace, joy, and freedom. Together, we'll explore what it means to keep Jesus at the center of where we live, work, and play, bringing beauty, meaning, and renewal to every part of our lives. Thank you for joining us. Here are your hosts, David and Ben.
Welcome to Centered. My name's Ben.
I'm David.
And this is where faith meets everyday life. This is actually our very first episode.
Yeah, this is our what is it called when
pilot.
The pilot. This is our pilot episode.
This is the pilot. We'll talk more about
the Centered podcast. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're going to talk about pilots in a little bit. We're going to talk about a lot of things. You know, really when we talk about faith meeting everyday life, that's the goal of this podcast, so that we can talk about things that, you know, come up in faith in messages here at Mosaic. And then, but really practically speaking, like, what does that mean for us here today? And so we can get into the weeds a little bit. We can, you know, get talking about some crazy stuff.
I mean, before we talk about that, I just want to recognize our set. Dude, like this is like
it's a legit set.
Legit, like professional.
Yeah.
Like I've never done like a podcast that's this professional.
Me neither.
Usually it's like sitting in some like spare bedroom in my house
on a Zoom.
On a Zoom computer. But dude, we got like centered like mugs. We got a centered sign.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. So, yeah. Welcome. We're glad you're here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think when we talk about the why we're doing this podcast, and we really believe that faith in Jesus is designed to meet everyday life and like meet us in like the real like things of our work and our hobbies and our relationships, friendships, marriages, parenting, all of those things. And sometimes when we talk about faith, we talk about it in such a intellectual way, or in a way that's like not applicable.
Like philosophy.
Yeah, like,
you know,
exactly.
It doesn't actually intersect with real life. It's just this thing that we talk about because we like to like pontificate on like really interesting ideas about God, about the world, but what we really don't want a lot of the time, if we're being honest, is it to invade or change my world. And so yeah, we want to get into the real stuff.
Yeah. I think at the core of like who I am is I really believe God cares about our actual lives. You know, like I think if I was to sum up like what, you know, why Jesus came and who I think Jesus is and what the good news about Jesus is all about, it's in 3 words: God with us. You know, and I just love that idea, that God is with us and he cares about our everyday lives. And so, you know, like when I'm at the grocery store, like faith has to do with that. And when I'm, you know, binging on Netflix with my family, like there's, you know.
You can do that?
You can do that, yeah.
Oh, wow.
But faith wants to be involved in that, and God wants to be involved in that. And so having a place where we can talk about those things in a safe place that's not, you know, religious or churchy or whatever, you know, the thing is, I think is important for us in this podcast.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, I think that that is a really good place for us to turn the corner a little bit to like, who are you? Like, tell us a little bit about David and, you know, where some of those perspectives maybe come from, or just, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm the lead pastor of Mosaic Church, who, is brand new. I've only been the lead pastor for 6 months. So brand new congregation. So I'm getting to know the church and, you know, the culture here. And, but I mean, that's not who I am.
No.
I mean, that's not who I am. Like, that's
it's
just
like,
what I
that's
do.
That's
like
part.
a little
that's
bit
what you do.
of what I do. Man, that's a hard question. Who are you? Is
know.
this like a philosophical, like, how far back do you want me to go?
I thought we said we weren't doing the philosophical.
Yeah, totally.
Who are you in real life, David?
Who am I in real life? Well, I'm a father. So I have 2 kids. I have an adopted daughter who is an adult and in the Marines She's married and gave us our first grandbaby this last year. So, yeah, I'm a grandpa, that's weird to say. I'm a tennis player. I love competitive sports. I love competition, anything that has to do with competition. But my real passion is tennis. So I compete weekly. I play in a couple of different leagues. I am I love exploring new ideas. So that's just like a huge part of who I am. Like when there's something new, like, dude, I went nuts like when crypto first came out and just like exploring this new reality of like currency and how. No, I never mined.
Okay.
But I dabbled a little bit, in this. But like,
I got a little crypto. I'm with you.
I was terrified of AI when it first came out, but now I'm like fully adopting.
Are you AI?
Yeah.
Is this real David or AI?
I talked to someone the other day on the street who has this whole theory about quantum mechanics, and that all of us are just the imagination of God. This was his theory, and that everything is just rippling out as a dream, basically, that God is having, and we're all living in it.
That's a different. I thought you were going to go to like the Matrix, where we're all like in these little pods and plugged in. But it's similar,
like
right?
That. Yeah, it's similar like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm a lover of new ideas, and I love people. I'm a people person. I'm an extrovert. Who am I? And I guess more than anything, I had a rough life growing up, and dude, my life like intersected with Jesus in a radical way. And so, I'm a transformed person. Someone who had been really broken in the past and experienced a lot of brokenness, but over time have experienced healing through Jesus. And so that's kind of that. If I was to say what defines me most, I think why I'm so interested in people and God and all of that is because of that story.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
How about you? Who are you, Ben?
You made it hard to follow because I'm like,
No.
now I'm stuck in the philosophical, like,
you had to know that was coming.
To just, I'm a Jesus follower, I think is probably the primary thing that I want to identify as, and I want to like shape, the way that I live, the way that I parent, the way that I, not just function as an employee of Mosaic, although I am that. I'm the creative arts pastor. So I do like worship music, I do like communications, social media stuff, and I lead a really awesome team who creates, environments like this, and we get to really be creative in the way that we express who we are as Jesus followers. And so, but beyond that, I'm a husband. I have a really amazing wife who we like each other. Like, most husbands and wives love each other, and we absolutely do, but we also like each other. She's my favorite person to hang out with, and hopefully my kids aren't listening, but we're always trying to find ways to steal away time from them. I'm a dad. I got two boys, 12 and 14, and they make life a lot richer. It's a lot more complex, and there's a lot to navigate with two young boys in the world that we live in, but
I didn't mention that I have a boy too, 13-year-old.
You do have, yeah.
But we
Little
both
Mosey.
We both have teens. We both have teens,
yeah. And they're buddies, which is fun.
Buddies, yeah,
which is fun. Beyond that, I love sports. Let's go Lakers. I'm from Los Angeles, so all my sports teams don't fit in really well. We're in the Denver area, and people really hate some of my sports teams, but I like it. I enjoy. I don't necessarily mind being like the sports villain. I like competition. I love playing sports. Not super great at some of them. I can't shoot to save my life in basketball, but football is a lot of fun. Baseball, both my boys have played baseball, and so that's a lot of fun. So I love competition, but I also love seeing my boys compete. That's actually in some ways more gratifying, than doing it myself.
Are you like that that crazy parent? Like, do you yell and shout on
No, yes and no. I've grown, but that's like the thing that scares Lauren the most, is that I would be that, or I could become that at any given moment. And so I've really I don't criticize anyone loudly or out loud. I so much in my head. I'm not like but never out loud. And if I have a critique for my sons, I'll like pull them to the side and talk to them. And so I've come a long way, and that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like I have to control myself for sure, like in those moments. And it's mainly like referee stuff, Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
man.
like, for
Balls
some
and
reason,
strikes.
referees are not humans to me. They're
Outs,
people to be
yeah.
abused, and
All of that. It's and I don't know what it is about sports that makes a person not a person anymore.
totally. Yeah, just something about it.
Yeah. And I've had to really work hard to not be that dad. And part of it is I don't want to ruin sports for my kids.
Yeah.
That's actually probably the biggest thing. It's not because I'm a Christian. It's not like, I mean, those things I'll filter in, but like the real reason is I don't want to ruin sports for my kids.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's a little bit about who we are. What can people expect on the Centered podcast?
Yeah, I hope people can expect honesty. I mean, one of the things that we're intentional about is for this not to be scripted, for us just to be able to have conversations off the cuff, like we're not selling anything. We're not promoting anything. We just want to have like honest conversations about Jesus. We're not like trying to grow this thing so we get like sponsors and stuff like that.
We're not.
Even though we almost had Starbucks.
I feel like I got bait and switched.
Cups. Yeah, bait and switch there. But yeah, just I think honesty is one of those things. I mean, both as vocational ministers, I want our people and the world to hear our inner thoughts. What are the things that we wrestle with, and where do we struggle in our own faith and in our own life? And so, yeah, I think honesty is a really important part of that genuine response. And then I hope people can expect to enlarge their imagination about faith and about who Jesus is and about the role that Jesus plays in our life. And that's kind of probably my big thing, if I was to say, like, if I had a thing, is I really believe that, God wants to enlarge our imagination about what's possible when we live life with him. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I know I want that.
Yeah,
like
totally.
Honestly, like seriously, I really do. It's something I've been thinking about because it's something you talk about a fair amount, and so it just kind of gets me thinking like, what does that look like in my life? And I don't have any answers yet, but I'm excited to see what that looks like, and then as you talk about honesty, one of the things that just comes to mind is like what's likely to happen at some point is we're going to disagree with each other.
Yeah.
If we're really being honest,
Totally.
right? Like,
yeah.
And so like what happens when we disagree? Like I hope that in a world where disagreement is basically cause for cancel, that we would model something different because I don't see that as the way of Jesus.
Yeah.
And also that listeners are going to disagree with us.
Yeah.
And so like what happens, do they cancel us? Not that we're going to say something so offensive that we'll literally be canceled, but like, do you stop engaging? Do you only listen because we're part of the echo chamber of what you want to hear? And my hope for the podcast and people who are listening is that when you do disagree with us, it causes you to think about why and to just be more thoughtful about, how do these things really intersect in where you live, work, and play? How does faith really work in real life for you? Because what I tell my boys all the time is God tends to grow us the most through like challenges.
Yeah.
And so sometimes those challenges are just intellectual challenges, right? Where we're faced with an issue that we don't see the same as someone else, and we got to wrestle with why do we think the way that we think? Why do we believe what we believe? And so my hope is that people will really be more thoughtful about some of these things because we're being thoughtful or attempting to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And my my faith has taken so many different shapes and forms over my life. And yeah, it's funny because it's my faith has evolved and devolved and evolved again and devolved again. And, and so it's funny because but when you say that, it's funny because most of the evolution that has taken place in my faith has initially been through a challenge. Like someone has said something that I didn't agree with, and then over time it opened me up to start exploring it and doing it, and then I became that thing. But also the devolving thing has happened in that same way, where I was so sure I believed this thing, and someone challenged my faith, and I started researching and looking into things, and it changed and formed over time. And man, I hope that's how everyone's faith journey is. I always imagine God as being a, like his beauty is like a diamond. Not every side is different. It's not uniform. It's different colors and shades and reflections and different things. And there's so much to explore in our faith. And just because we see one side of it doesn't mean that there's not a whole other side to explore in our faith. And so,
right.
Well, I love
Yeah.
that.
When I think the world that we live in is often just really focused on the side that they understand,
Right.
or the side that their preferred news channel gives them,
Yeah.
or whatever the case is. And it's easier to kind of hone in on one side and really truly understand it and lean into that than it is to take a holistic approach and look at the other sides. And I mean, I struggle with this too, so I'm not like preaching. I'm more like,
Totally. Yeah, we all have that.
yeah,
Even in our, when we think about centered, is the idea isn't like a balanced view or a centered view or anything. It really just means looking at everything through the lens of Jesus, and he challenges us all the time in how we see the world around us and experience the world around us. And so when we think about being centered, that's really what we want, is for Jesus to challenge our assumptions. And the only way that we're going to grow is when those assumptions are challenged, And so,
yeah. And I think it leads us to something better
totally,
when we're open.
yeah,
Yeah. And that's the hardest part, is being open.
Yes.
So, should we have a little fun?
yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. So,
Let me take a drink of my.
take a drink.
What's in your cup?
I'm a blonde caramel macchiato.
Okay.
And my joke to the barista, it's so dumb, that they have more fun. And the
blonde
barista,
macchiatos have more fun. They don't get
they
it.
never laugh.
Yeah.
I don't know. They probably get it. They're just, it's a brunette that's taking my order, and she's like, really?
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. I'm a tall cold brew with vanilla sweet cold foam on top.
That sounds nice.
It's either that or black coffee. That's really all there is to me. I'm kind of boring when it comes to my coffee.
Yeah, I'm pretty boring too. It's the same, like it's some version of a caramel macchiato
Every time.
Maybe if I want to get crazy.
All right.
Wrap.
Hey, is this like a segment? Is this like our first segment?
Yeah, I think we're working out names. We're still
Okay.
workshopping names.
Yeah.
It could be like just for funsies.
Okay, just for funsies.
It could be like, because we want to. Like, it's our podcast. We can do whatever we want. So,
Okay.
What? Like, I don't know.
That's the name of the segment, because we want to.
Right? Yeah,
Okay.
that could be the name of the segment.
Yeah, keep them coming.
I don't have much else. Would you got
That's
any
it.
ideas? Those are my names. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you came with
No, those were the
Okay.
names I had. But
Just for funsies.
for now, this will be just for funsies.
I like
This
it.
is an evolution, and really, like we talked about, this is the pilot.
Yeah.
So, like, one of the things that I've experienced, and this is one of the things I wanted to talk about, is TV show pilots. So, going back to AI, I asked ChatGPT,
Yeah.
give me 5 television shows that were super popular, but the pilot sucked.
Yeah.
And it gave me a list. I'll share the list in a second. But one of the things that I've tried to live out is I try not to judge a show by its pilot.
Oh.
Because the pilot is usually low budget. They
Yeah.
don't even know if they're going to make this show.
Yeah.
Like, one of the best characters isn't even fully developed, or maybe isn't even in the episode. Like, and so I try not to judge a show by the pilot. I try to give it
You are a
to.
way more understanding consumer than I am. I'm like, dude, if that pilot doesn't catch, dude, my son
You're
had this
done.
conversation. We started a new show last night, and I can't even remember what it was catchy. But he sits down and he literally says, he's like, if this show doesn't impress me in 7 minutes, I'm out of here. That's what he said. And so we're like, oh, 7. We're like, 7 minutes? That's all you got? Like that was it.
Okay, this is the list, and this is why this is helpful because these are 5 really great shows. I like all 5 of these. That had I had that mind shift or mind thought, I would have like bailed on them immediately. So the first, and you just let me know, did you watch this and do you remember the pilot? But The Office, the U.S. version.
Yeah, I do. I don't remember the pilot. I don't remember watching it, but I loved The Office, and I've watched it since. And I think the pilot, maybe because I understood where the show was going, that I was fine with it, but I don't remember watching it being bad.
I'm gonna we said honesty.
Yeah.
Chat GPT reminded me this. I didn't remember this on my own.
Gotcha.
But it was criticized because it was too derivative from the UK version. Like the US pilot was so similar to the UK pilot that people, criticized it. And that was the reason it sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's not a good reason.
And so not a good reason. And, and Michael Scott early on.
Those are show snobs.
Well, I might be one of those. But Michael Scott was weird, early on. And he was always weird, but he like grows on you. And
I remember watching like the 3rd episode, and I remember what I loved about it is I felt so uncomfortable watching this thing for these people, knowing it was fake, knowing it was a show, but like literally like feeling uncomfortable about it and going, I like that feeling.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Like what in the world is that? Some like it's sadistic or something. Like
maybe. But it's also just like it's so crazy that you're just like it's not real. Like there is this part of you that's like able to totally disconnect from reality. That maybe that's what makes it entertaining. I don't know.
Okay, so Office,
second one.
Never would have thought. So there's one I never would have thought that had a bad pilot.
It's great.
What you're saying is there's hope for us.
There is hope for us. And what I'm actually saying is, one, if you don't like this, don't judge us by the pilot.
Yeah, keep coming back. It's going to get better.
Yep.
It's going to get better.
And if you do like it, judge it by the pilot. Like be like David. Yeah. If in the first 7 minutes you loved it, stick with us. So second one, Parks and Rec.
Okay.
So like the criticism on Parks and Rec was it's too much like The Office.
Oh. They were going out of their way to try to make people feel uncomfortable. Because that was the big thing about The Office.
Yeah. I mean, it's really The Office in a different setting, right?
Setting,
yeah.
I could see that.
And so, and everyone says season 1 is terrible. Like not just the pilot, but the whole first season. People are like starting the second season. Like it's that.
That's interesting.
So that's the second one.
Okay.
Third one was, and this is like one of my favorite shows of all time, Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
Now you think about it, Seinfeld is a show about nothing.
Right.
What's the pilot?
Yeah.
It's nothing.
It's nothing.
Like it's really just banter. It's just, like them talking about.
Which is what made Seinfeld great.
Right.
There was nothing like Seinfeld when Seinfeld came on.
No. And the last episode was equally criticized.
Yeah.
Like nobody loved the whole court scene and yeah, it just didn't work, I guess. But one of my favorites. Fourth one, this might surprise some people that I was into this, but I would go, shout out to Matt Marino. We would go to Matt Marino's house every week and watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Whoa. Okay, I didn't have that. I didn't have that gear. I think I might have been on this is where age probably makes it a little bit
could
different.
be. I just thought Sarah Michelle Gellar was hot.
Yeah.
If I'm being totally honest. Like that was,
we had shows
that
like
was
that.
it,
You're 10 years my
I was 20.
Yeah.
Probably.
You're younger. So
19, 20 when that was.
I would have been 30 almost, and
probably doesn't do it for you.
Yeah, that's probably not the place I need to be as a 30-year-old.
But it was such a weird, campy show, and the pilot, I don't remember the pilot, but I'm sure it was horrible.
Yeah.
And so that's the fourth one. Okay, last one.
So Friends wasn't on that list?
No.
Really?
No, I guess Friends had a great pilot. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
But this is probably, in my estimation, maybe the best television show ever is Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah, changed
It's
the game.
so great. Bryan Cranston is unreal.
And I don't agree with the pilot's what sucked me in. I was reluctant
Really?
to watch it. And
I was too. I was a way late adopter.
Me too. And because of the whole Christian thing, we can talk about
Yeah.
that later.
Oh,
But,
yeah. Oh yeah. People are judging us
I
that
know,
we
right
even
now. It's
like
all-
this
it's all
show.
good. But the pilot, man, I was like, what did I just see? I remember it ending and going, I have to watch this again.
Got to see another one.
Got to see another one. Yeah.
So we were late adopters, and Lauren, she loves Hallmark.
Yeah,
Gives you
okay,
like her entertainment sphere, and so if the show's not wholesome,
Yeah.
She's
It can be
out.
hard.
the very first scene
Oh yeah.
we're seeing, topless woman. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't watch this. I'm
Yeah.
like, and she's freaking out, but I'm like, everyone says it's so good that like the series was over.
Gotta get
Like
past
it'd gone through the whole thing. I don't think this is the show. I don't think this is like an every week occurrence. And that's literally the only time in the whole series
Yeah,
you see
it
that.
wasn't that way. Yeah.
But, and I don't know why they do that in pilots, but there's got to be some sensationalism of some sort. Anyways, that's for
We'll
another
talk
time.
about that. We will talk about that because we have to talk about the intersection of faith and entertainment. And
Oh, yeah.
all over the place. So
Oh yeah. So I love the show. Better Call Saul. I was fully on with that, and yeah, just such a great.
did you watch Ozarks after?
I didn't watch Ozarks. Should I have?
Oh my goodness!
I'm
dude.
missing
If you're a
out.
Breaking Bad fan, you will love Ozarks. Okay. Yeah.
Well, but Lauren probably won't.
Lauren won't. Tara didn't.
Yeah,
love
she
all of it.
tapped out on Breaking Bad, and then I was on my own.
Yeah.
So yeah. So if you don't love the pilot,
Yeah, I think
the show might still be great.
that's fascinating. I wouldn't have guessed any of those had a bad pilot because they were all really successful.
Yeah.
The only one I'm not don't know anything about is Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Well,
so
you just didn't think Sarah Michelle Gellar was hot enough for you. I guess
guess
I don't
not. I
know.
wasn't. yeah,
Nice.
yeah, very cool.
All right. Well, I think that's all I've got. Do you have any parting wisdom for us, David?
Man, I'm excited for this next season. I think that we're gonna have some good conversations, and God's doing a lot in our church, and I think having space like this to be able to go deeper in the things that are happening here, the things we're talking about as a church, but also being able to bring the outside world into that, I think is going to be it's really good for us. So I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I already know you better.
Yeah.
and I'm sure you guys will all feel the same. So,
Totally.
So yeah, I'm excited for it. And hey, just keep journeying with us as we talk about faith intersecting with real life. Thanks for watching or listening. Oh, and by the way, this would be a huge miss on our part.
Oh yeah, you have to do this.
Yeah. First, we'd love for you to subscribe
Yeah.
to the channel. That's huge. And it can be, we're going to be YouTube. You might be watching us right now. Or, your favorite podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, all the good stuff. We're going to be everywhere. And we'd love for you to just, then, man, you get that notification. I literally don't listen to podcasts I'm not subscribed to.
Yeah.
So if you actually want to, you like the pilot or you hate the pilot, but you want to see what we do next,
Yeah.
like and subscribe.
Let's give a little shout out to our executive producer.
Oh, yeah.
Courtney.
Courtney.
She's a little shout out to her. And then we got our engineer, our
Yep. He's
production
in the
engineer,
back
Tanner
room there,
Lord,
hiding.
in the back room.
Yep,
hiding.
yep.
Like that's
The Tan Man.
Yeah. So we got to just shout out to them. When you see them, you can thank them, or you can stalk them on Instagram or whatever. I'm sure you can find them. So
Yeah. They're really big on the Snapchat.
yeah, they're big. Oh,
Yeah,
is that what the kids are
I
doing these
have
days?
no idea. Yeah. Well, join us next week. We start our Make Room series, and we're going to be talking about the intersection of faith and technology.
Yeah, you do not want to miss this. I actually think this is probably one of the most important conversations we could be having right now, just as a people.
Are you gonna ruin my relationship with technology?
I hope I ruin everybody's relationship with their phone. So that's my goal, is to try
I love my phone.
I know. I'm going to try to break you all up. That's what I'm trying to do. And
It's like that's my approach to pre-marriage counseling. I tell them if I can break you up, then this shouldn't happen.
Totally.
So you're gonna do that to my phone?
So come back next week or listen to the next episode. I don't know how this works, but You're not going to want to miss it.
YouTube, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
watch us, listen. Yeah, but you really want to watch us.
Yeah, you really want
Yeah,
to watch
David's handsome.
it. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Thanks for listening to Centered. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a friend. You can listen to Centered on your favorite podcast platform or watch on YouTube. To learn more about Mosaic or connect further, visit us online at welcometomosaic.com. See you next week.